My microphone, not my microphone, but like I had a clip-on mic. It's not working. I'm going straight off the dome with this one. So, let me gather my thoughts here. My original message based off of your discussion about AI on your screens, controlling your screens, that's trippy to me, first and foremost. That just irks me, And I noticed that as human beings, I think the concept of a bad habit is the epitome of what I'm trying to talk about, right? We perpetuate the cycles in our life. We dictate our own fate, in a sense. So the bad habit, right, is something that we do consistently, subconsciously, that we know is detrimental to the self, and yet we still do it, It's almost like we have poison and we inject ourselves with it willingly because a part of us can't stop doing it. And what I'm trying to say here is this on a broader scheme, in terms of we keep doing things that we know aren't good for us as human beings, as a society. And yet, knowing these things, we still do them because we know what else we could be doing, but it's almost like part of us is content in harming ourselves. Ignorance, in a sense. So let's talk about the whole AI thing. I don't know what that is. All I know is that you guys were, when I say you guys, it was Landon and Harold. We were praising it. First off, I am fully anti-AI. I haven't used ChatGPT in months. If you guys are going to use AI, do not use ChatGPT, And I'll tell you why, because they are the AI that partnered with the Department of Homeland Security. Just on a moral sense, they are basically fueling the deportation of innocent immigrants, the ones that built this country, as we know. Don't use ChatGPT. All right? Don't use AI in general. Don't let machines replace you. Don't let machines replace your mind. AI could never be the human mind, by the way. Learning that in psychology. It's just so complex at an insanely deep level, but that's besides the point. And we know AI is not good for us. Every single one of us in our group chat, all 6 of us grew up in a world where AI wasn't really available to the general public. We all know the government stuff had AI way back when, right? Of course they did, but pardon me, I just ate. We grew up without it. We were fine without it. What made me quit AI? I only used it like fall semester of college just to get through my classes, if I needed it. What I realized was that, when will I keep dumbing myself down and be dependent on this thing for answers? First of all, Google exists. Just look it up. I'm sure AI provides a more specific answer. It seems that way, but its answers are very broad and very general and very biased towards you, towards what it believes your opinion is based off of the tone of your message, based off of what it gets. AI is never going to really go against you. And I'm focusing too much on AI. I have to go broader here. Again, this is straight off the dome, bro. We know this stuff is not good for us as a society. We know that these big tech people are fueling the destruction of Earth, right? We know some of them are literally probably demons, bro. Like the dude that owns Palantir. These aren't on a moral sense, on an ethical sense. These people aren't humans. They're justifying the war in Iran, which in itself is weirdly promoted. Do you guys not notice this? They're promoting this war and treating it as if it's some new video game. You know? They're dropping like teaser trailers for their next bombing wave on both sides. You got Trump talking about it. Like, it's just so dystopian. And you can sense it deep down. I think all of us know that this stuff is dystopian. And that, there we go. This is what I'm trying to talk about. Is that we live in a dystopian society that we allow to exist. You know? We have to understand the 1% of human beings, the ones that control the world, are only as powerful as we, the 99%, allow them to be. Which is the bigger number? The 99% or the 1%? Us. And yet they have created and manufactured and programmed a world in which we believe that we are dependent on these services that they provide. You know? We aren't. It's just that the power that we've given them allows them to make it feel like we are. That's another thing. I watched a video about how the Epstein Files is the biggest masterclass in propaganda in history. And it's true. The Epstein Files are literally brainwashing us into thinking that these people have more control than they do. The reason that these people have so much control is because we believe they do. They don't. They really don't. You know? I think now this is a slippery slope, because there's obviously the argument of privilege. Am I the most privileged person? No, I don't come from a rich background. I come from a quite poor background, right? But I live in the United States of America, where things are more accessible to me than they are in other countries. And I'm going to use myself as an example very lightly, just to say that it is possible for us to step away from these things. You know what I mean? All it takes to stop using AI is to stop using AI. That's a decision. You choose to use AI, you just choose not to. Oh, my stomach hurts. You know, you can choose to eat the unhealthy foods that are chemically created, and I don't even know a word to describe it. Just disgusting. You can't even call it food. If you've seen the process on how some of these name brand food items are created, you wouldn't call it food anymore, right? And everyone knows what I'm talking about. I'm talking about all the snacks, all the junk food, all the seed oils, blah, blah, blah. Look up a video on how seed oils are created. You will never want to cook with it ever again, bro. I'm so serious. You will never want to cook with any type of vegetable oil, canola oil, sunflower oil. None of it. It's disgusting. It's actually like putrid. They're chemically manufacturing meat now. All that vegan stuff, right? I'm not against veganism. I think that, you know, Rastafari culture is a great example of veganism done well, because they don't eat beyond meat. They just eat beans, you know, they just eat vegetables, fruits, because plants can provide everything that we need. I'm not vegan. I'm not going to go vegan. But I'm just saying, if you're going to go vegan, you got to go vegan, because that fake meat stuff is not good for you. Just eat tofu, bro. Eat tofu, eat chickpeas, eat edamame beans for your protein. That's a whole nother question. But there's always an option, especially in first world countries, which America is slowly starting to not become one, which is really crazy. But what I'm saying is, if we have the option, and when I'm making this video, I'm speaking to my friends, about this. We have the option to step away from these harmful things. I guess you say things. We have the option to step away from those. I do it. That's why I'm using myself as an example, because we live pretty similar lives. I step away from a majority of stuff. And yes, I use Instagram occasionally, right? I'm not proud of it because Meta is like, oof. We have world hunger that could be solved with like barely any of Elon Musk's money or Mark Zuckerberg. World hunger and homelessness could be solved with like a tenth of what Mark Zuckerberg invested into the metaverse. Is that not crazy? Think about that. All these world problems that are impossible to solve aren't impossible to solve. They're just being ignored because they give these hungry, greedy, obsolete, insecure human beings just a little more sense of control over a life that they have no control over. We control ourselves, we don't control our lives. And these people are abusing their way to a theoretical top of the pyramid in order to feel like they have more control over their lives. That's the psychological background of the 1%. You know, it's no surprise that most of the tech billionaires are chuds, are disgusting, weird, ugly chuds. And I say that in the nicest way possible. There's literally nothing redeemable about them. Mark Zuckerberg, Jeff Bezos, the Palantir CEO, ChatGPT dude, all the AI dudes, bruh. Weirdos. They're all weirdos. And we're giving them money, we're giving them support, we're using their services that they've built us to believe are necessary. AI is not necessary. We literally have lived centuries without artificial intelligence. We don't need it. You know, at some point, human evolution went down the wrong path because we were pulled by the dark forces of this world, the 7 deadly sins. The same thing that got us kicked out of the Garden of Eden. We're pulled by that instead of just sticking on the right path. Why don't we just take the path that's good for us? Why do we choose temporary pleasure over long-term permanent fulfillment? You know? And each year that passes by is another year that I haven't, wanked my willy or watched the Cornhub. And each year that goes by, I kind of am more and more disgusted by that whole industry, built completely off of lust, completely off of pleasure. You know? It's so weird to me how we perpetuate these things. We allow these things to exist. You know? I was with Sakai, I was driving by McDonald's. It was filled to the brim with people. None of that food in there is real. You know? Even the chicken, it's the lowest quality. It's disgusting. Why do we do this to ourselves? And why do we keep allowing them to... They almost boast in our faces about how much power they have over us. But the thing is, we give them that power. You know? All it takes is us stopping. People do it. It's just the problem is most of us are comfortable where we are. And we don't really see a point. Oh, it wouldn't hurt. It hurts really badly. And if it doesn't directly affect you, it directly affects the rest of the world. AI is all fun and games, Gee, my test. Oh, I just need a good grade. We're in a water crisis. Water is a finite resource and we are losing it quickly. If it doesn't affect you, it definitely affects something or someone else. And if it affects someone else, it affects you. We gotta stop. This whole, and if we go again on an even broader scale in terms of society, all the societies are detrimental to the health of us and the health of the earth, which coincides with each other. Capitalism bad, communism bad, democracy bad, conservatism bad. It's all bad. All of it. It's bad for us. I think when we strayed away from indigenous practices that are connected with the earth, that instead of taking from the earth, just initiate a replenishing cycle. Right? Because human beings are part of a cycle. We just chose to leave it and do our own thing because we thought we were better. Now, I'm not saying we should all live in huts and do... Oh, that's racist. Just lost all my credibility. I'm not saying we should be indigenous. I'm saying that when we strayed away, when we were on that path, but we went the other way. If we kept going, my whole thing is that we can focus on the benefits of society, of everything that encompasses the modern world. We can focus on the good parts of it, right? And then go back and combine it with the things that connected us to the world. But that's a whole nother day of discussion. I guess what I'm trying to say is the people controlling us are only as powerful as we allow them to be. And we are allowing them to be. And that's what inspired this video, is that Landon's friend, Hippie Beak, I already know who it is. It's Hippie Beak. Google Gemini, connect the dots. He is a part of that. He's a big part of that. It's only him and one person, he's in his special teams working to further destructuralize, I guess you could say. Further remove humanity from humanity. Do you get what I'm saying? To further industrialize our earth. Mechanize? I don't know. Too many words, man. Too many words, too late of the day. But y'all get what I'm saying? Stocks is a whole nother thing. That's theoretical money. It doesn't exist. That was just created for the rich to get richer. It's literally just glorified gambling. AI is just useless. Use your brain. Or else you'll lose it. Studying is not that hard. Learning is not that hard. At birth, we're all capable of learning. Just learn. Just have that passion to learn. It's within all of us. And that's another thing, bro. Spirituality. You gotta connect to yourself. Because I preach that God is within all of us. When we were created, when the world was created, God created everything with Him inside of it. We all have God's, not godly powers, but His attributes, His kindness, His mercy, His love, right? We all have that inside of us. God created Jesus to show us that human beings possess these qualities. And we killed Him. We killed God. But as long as we exist, we have God within us. All of society is geared to make us focus on the outward stuff. Because they know that once we go inward, we discover what we're capable of. And that's everything. Everything you can imagine. There is no benefit from war. There is nothing good about the war in Iran. There's nothing good about any war in history. There's nothing good about a group of people deploying millions of people to kill themselves for a group of people. There's no glory in that. There would be no need to defend our country if every country stopped having a military. There would be no need to have a military if we lost our greed and our lust for power and just connected with each other as human beings. If we lose the primitive nature within us, not primitive, but those impulses. I want, I need, I want. It doesn't help us. For all of humanity, God literally wiped out the earth because of what we are doing now. You know, the reason that the great flood happened and Noah had to get on an ark with his family and all those animals is because the world was terrible, toxic, it was just run by the dark, evil forces. So God cleansed it, gave us a second chance, and we went back to doing the same exact thing. I'm not saying God's going to bring a flood again. I'm just saying we don't learn our lesson. And it is so simple. Don't do what is harmful to us. Don't stray from God's path. There's no reason to. It doesn't benefit anyone. Just fulfill your purpose as a human being. Whatever it is, whatever purpose pertains to you, just do it. Don't put it off. And don't fall for the distractions that put you off from it. They're all around you. Get off social media. You don't need it. You don't need the news. You know? Journalism lost its credibility centuries ago. It's all run by the people that, promote these wars. It's all messed up. Don't read the news. Don't be ignorant. Be educated. Understand things that are happening, but know the true reason behind them. Understand that you have to dig deeper than opinions and find the facts. There is no situation in Gaza. It's a genocide. There is no war in Iran. It's the USA and Israel trying to gain control of a profitable region and do what it did in Central America, South America, and Africa. It's trying to colonize the Middle East. And Iran's not having it. Thank God. I'm not supporting Iran. I'm not supporting USA. I'm not supporting Israel. I don't support wars. I don't support fighting. But just know that dystopian feeling when you hear about the war, when you hear about the Epstein, it's a distraction, bro. The Epstein files were never meant to come out, but they came out. And the Epstein files coming out is proof of our power as the 99%. It's proof that if we come together and we're annoying enough and we step away and boycott and do all these things, then the 1% will realize. Because think about it. There is no 1% if there is no 99%. They need us. We don't need them. Every single time in history that we've made this obvious, things have gone our way. But we get docile and let them go in their favor again. Don't go to Starbucks. Don't go to chain places, right? Unless it's a trustworthy place. Like Springbone, my goat, Springbone, is owned by two dudes. They built their company from the ground up. And they have it in a couple cities in America. So what? We gotta stop with this, man. Support local businesses. Go to farmers markets. Eat clean. Eat healthy. Landon, stop eating Chick-fil-A. Harold, stop eating Chick-fil-A. Tyron, Ronan, Chris, stop eating Chick-fil-A, bro. It's terrible for you. It's terrible for you, and the people that own it are weird. Your bosses are weird, bro. And they make us fat. We're literally gonna become Wall-E, bro. And that new movie, Project Hail Mary, that's propaganda for space travel. Because the elites know that they have destroyed Earth far too much for us to inhabit it. And so now they're trying to promote traveling to space. But whatever. This is a very long video. I gotta go. You're welcome. See y'all.